Happy hump day. Let's talk some birds. Handsome Rich Hofmann, Jamie Lynch in studio. We're going to hear from EJ Smith at the NovaCare complex and Mina Kimes talking ball. Let's get to it. PHLY Eagles Podcast coming up next. Hello, everybody, live from the Xfinity Studio. Welcome to the PHLY Eagles Podcast, presented by Bet365 and Ashley. We've got a big Wednesday show coming up for you. Handsome Rich is here. Jamie Lynch is here. Well, Wulf's here, but who cares about that? We're going to hear from EJ Smith live at the NovaCare complex in about 10 minutes. Then about 2:45, we're going to be joined by Mina Kimes to talk about the first two games of this Eagles season. Gentlemen, how you doing? Jamie, have you done Rich's Eagles quiz yet?
I have. I was one of the beta testers.
Yeah, I bet you were.
I'm a master beta guy. So I had to get someone wrong on purpose to make sure that the system worked.
Yeah, sure.
So I had to, at Rich's, request, he said, get a couple wrong so we make sure that it's
good.
hard.
It's tough.
It's hard.
Good.
It's good though, and people should refer people to sign up because it's a lot of fun.
Where can people find it, Rich?
Well, you can find it on the site on allphly.com, the Philly Ultimate or the PHLY Ultimate Philly Sports Quiz, or you can find it in the newsletter too. And if you subscribe to the newsletter, we have the referral code in there. The Eagles Quiz is the first one, guys. All you need to do, just refer one person, just one. Tell your brother, tell your friend, tell whoever. Tell the guy on the street. Doesn't matter.
Use your wife's email.
Yeah, absolutely. Take that Eagles quiz and see how you do.
Rich is
I did get a couple wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not I forget scores right away.
Yeah,
I can't even tell you the score of Sunday's game against the Chiefs. I just
2017.
I guess that's right.
I made the graphic.
It did just go right out of my mind.
That's the only reason.
So that's one where I did not, even though the Super Bowl just happened.
This guy's a good deep cuts guy. Like Rich's brain.
And then the other one, the GM. I could not get the name of that GM.
He actually just passed away, unfortunately.
Jim Murray.
Jim Murray.
Yeah. Don't give it away.
Oh, well, that's a freebie.
Wow,
That's a freebie. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad job by me.
Freebie. All right.
Well, we both did it. I was there with you, committing the crime also.
That might be the hardest one. Oh, well.
All right, let me a little temperature check with you guys because we've spent the first couple days talking a little bit about the state of the passing game and how concerned are you. Let's start with you, Rich. What's your level of concern with the whole Patullo situation?
Man, talking about this team is hard. It just is because the passing game was terrible. It was really bad, but we have dealt with a lot of bad Eagles teams through the years, and this is clearly not one of them. And they just win and win and win, and that's amazing. So, I've been kind of talking about this in the newsletter. Like, am I going to raise my voice at Kevin Patullo after a Super Bowl win and a 2-0 start? No. But, maybe a few suggestions here and there. Maybe like AJ Brown should have more than 35 yards through two games, maybe. So it's one of those things where I think it is somewhat concerning. It's weird because I thought heading into the year, Bo, after last year and the struggles of the passing game, everybody thought, all right, well, most of this offense is back, and you have Mekhi Becton who's gone, but after this training camp where Tyler Steen clearly showed that he's a pretty good player, I thought these guys were going to hit the ground running, and it just has not exactly been the case. Am I super worried in the long term? Maybe not, because this Eagles team has shown that the first month of the year is not always telling, and they can certainly get better. Now, that was mostly on defense, I would say, last year where they made the big turnaround. So that's a long-winded way of saying, I don't know. It will grow tiring, I think, in a few weeks if Kevin Patullo is is talking at the press conferences and saying, well, we didn't get to it. We had some deep shots in the game plan and we just did not quite get there. But for now, it's one of those things where you just note it and you say, like, look, I think they're going to have to be better at some point. And this ultra conservative idea of just avoiding turnovers, I think that's going to bite you at some point when you're playing a better offense. But for now, let's see if they get better.
How about you, Jamie?
I have the conflict of like the hoagie mouth 700 level guy inside of me that is like, AJ and Devontae need to be a bigger part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my rational thinking side of me that's like, you went into Kansas City and you won. You beat a division opponent at home on banner night with all like the extracurriculars and you pulled one out. You're 2-0. Shut the hell up, hoagie mouth.
Yeah.
But to Rich's point, like,
are those on like your shoulder? Like,
yeah, hoagie mouth on
hoagie
one
mouth
and rational sports fan on the other. It clearly is a problem. Like that has to be corrected, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think
I'm
it is
not worried about it now.
rational to be concerned about it.
Sure.
I also think because we've talked about this so much, I'm trying to get beyond, is this good or bad? And trying to think more about the why behind it, right? Like,
Sure.
This is, they went into the game plan and this was their game plan. They're doing these things that are very predictable and very static. It's not a surprise to them that, they have run every single time out of pistol except for the first snap of the game, or that when they bring on these 2 and 3 tight end sets, they're overwhelmingly going to run, or that everything is 2x2 with the wide receivers and they're very predictable routes. Like, I imagine they know those things. So why, with Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, is that the way that they want to attack? I can sort of understand it in the Chiefs game, because if you're thinking, we know that we're going to get heated up by Spags, we need to make the answers a little bit more predictable. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe this is what Jalen wants to some degree, but that's what is more interesting to me now that I've gotten through like 3 days of, this is kind of boring, is like, why isn't this the way that they're doing it?
Well, and this is different, I think, from last year where in the middle of the season, Fran had a great piece on the site. I remember he was saying he's just not seeing it as quickly as he needs to. I think he's seeing it right now.
Yeah, me too.
So it's even weirder where I thought against a lot of those all-out pressures from Spags, the blocking was great for the most part. Saquon was picking up blitzers. Jalen was standing tall in the pocket, eyes downfield. There was the one play where he had the check down to Saquon. There was just nothing else there. I think he's doing a lot of things really well. I mean, the deep throw to Devontae, excellent job by everybody on that play. Yeah, but for some reason it's not happening right now with AJ and Devontae. And I'm curious to see why. I don't have a ton of answers.
The limited Devontae usage, it confuses me more than AJ, because like we talked about on the post game, I don't think AJ's 100% yet. So that one I can go, all right, he just needs some time. He didn't really participate in a ton of training camp. They put him on ice to make sure he was ready. He's getting his sea legs under him. Like that one I can rationalize in my mind. The Devontae one, that's where I'm like, okay, where is he? Because he needs to,
especially with no Goddard last week.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at some of the usage charts about wide receiver like distribution in the league, they're at the bottom, and you have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL. That really shouldn't be happening.
I do think Calcaterra, like, I know he's been the whipping boy over the past few days. He's not playing well, and if he is your first tight end, that's an issue. That's an issue, and the fact that some of his routes were not great either. It seems like he was confused a little bit on the depth on some of those routes. Well, you have to be good at that because you're not a good run blocker. So you have to provide some value in that regard. So that type of stuff, it's like, all right, when you get Goddard back, like that should look a little bit better, and that's got to be the hope. I will say, Deniz does have me like. The pistol thing. I was watching the game and I was like, oh, here comes another run.
Yeah.
They're in pistol.
The stats on those are pretty eye-opening.
Well, and look, I think at some point it's going to be a hell of a tendency breaker. Right. It's going to be the ultimate tendency breaker in the second quarter, hopefully, of this Rams game, they run a play action. I'm just assuming AJ and Devontae, there's going to be like nobody in the picture on that one. It's going to be that level of a tendency breaker. But yeah, maybe getting to those tendency breakers within a game, getting, doesn't have to be 50-50. I'm not saying that, but certainly not being quite as predictable out of those formations. That would be nice. But again, I'm not mad for just pointing out what's going on.
They're 2-0. It's life is good.
Sure.
And I don't expect things to continue to be this bad. I do think there's a natural level of improvement coming.
I would think so.
There has to be. It can't really be worse in terms of forcing the ball
They
down
could be
the
turning
field.
the ball over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if they're winning games like they did in week 2 in November, that's what happened in 2023. And
Shut your ass up. We won.
And I think that's what everybody was saying. And then it wasn't good enough at some point. Now, the big difference between 2023 and now is this defense not going to fall apart like that.
I agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to hear from EJ Smith in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsors. What you do not need is to go over to a buddy's house for the game and get fan fished. You don't want to get there, you're ready to watch the Birds play the Rams, and all of a sudden you're dealing with buffering and changing apps and all this stuff. No. You need Xfinity. Xfinity is the ultimate sports destination. You can find the best games and your favorite teams all in one place, and the way that you watch is next level. It's the perfect fan flex. All of your action right in your living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So clear, it feels like you're in the stadium. And sometimes, if you've got 4 games going at once, you can just enjoy it all. Because why not? On top of that, you get real-time notifications and live stats right on your TV. It is the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multiview requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
Guys, Ford Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV, a legacy of family trust and performance. And in my family, it was a big one. That was my dad's car. Growing up, had that for about a decade. Guys, the Ford Explorer, it's still going, and it offers 3-row seating for up to 7 passengers, which is great for families and road trips. It's available in rear-wheel drive or intelligent 4-wheel drive for better traction and control. And it comes with a choice of 3 different powertrains, including a hybrid for better fuel economy. That hybrid model, guys, it offers up to 500 miles of driving range, a great balance of power and economy, packed with a Ford Copilot 360, which is a suite of advanced driver assist features. And it's available with a Sync 4 infotainment system with a large touchscreen and voice command, which just adds to the whole driving experience. And this is the big one for me, guys, a terrain management system, which lets you select drive modes like snow, sand, and tow haul. Look, it's the winter. It's going to be tough driving around Philadelphia. There's going to be snow. Get that Ford Explorer, which offers up to 87.8 cubic feet of cargo space with the rear seats folded down. Throw something in the back seat there, and rear seat passengers get available captain's chairs for extra comfort and accessibility. Built for families, but ready for adventure, a true do-it-all SUV. For more information, visit your local Ford store.
All right. Back on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Do we have our man from NovaCare? One moment. All right, Julia's efforting.
How would you
to
grade
open up
his-
that Xfinity mobile call-in line?
His NovaCare setup so far.
You know what? I've listened to the Wednesday shows with EJ. I have not watched, so I'm gonna have to
Compared
see
to
it here.
those of a man who...
All right, joining us on the Xfinity mobile call-in line, the PHLY Eagles insider with the red mic, bleeding Chiefs red. There he is, EJ Smith.
You're not watching the show? It's our show. You got to watch, Bo.
I can consume it. I have to consume it different ways. There are people who
Oh, get outta
listen,
here.
so I have to
This guy over
hear
here.
what it's like for them.
Nah, you got to watch. You got to watch. You got to subscribe. We're almost to 50,000. Come
Okay,
on.
well, I'm going to tell
What
you
are we
what.
doing
You gotta
here?
hit that like button.
I'm watching right now,
Yeah.
and I'm giving you an F. What
This
is
is a
it?
good
You're
setup.
showing us the duct. You're not even. You got no backdrop here. It looks like you could be anywhere. There's no sign that you're at the Eagles facility.
This is on brand for you and your grainy camera for the years that you had it. This
I'm
isn't
gonna
about
tell
the
Saul
backdrop.
that
This
he's
is
gotta
about the
go
lighting.
to your work
okay?
office setup.
No,
He's
this
going to
is
have
about
to
the
go
lighting.
to the NovaCare complex and fix this for you.
No, the lighting is king here. You got to make sure you got the natural light. I got balanced light. Listen, this is a good setup. I'm even using, you guys can't see this. I'm using a like an old repurposed tinfoil tray to like prop my laptop up a little bit. So there was some effort. I was also efforting to be here.
Okay, yeah, we see the mic here. EJ Smith, sponsored by Satan.
Yeah, how does Julia feel about you constantly coming after this microphone?
You know what? I got a bone to pick with Julia while we're here.
Oh, here we go.
Wow, this is great.
Oh, yeah, let's air it
we got to get into this, Julia. Julia and I were texting back and forth during the ad reads, and I said something, and she wrote LOL. But I'm in the same room with her, and she did not laugh out loud.
Oh, get out of here. That's not what LOL means in 2025, Grandpa.
He literally wrote back to me, liar.
Are you a ha-ha guy?
Yeah.
He is.
LOL.
That's
I'm
tepid, man.
You better
Ha-ha
actually
is
laugh
rough.
out loud.
No.
The LOL is funnier than the ha-ha, though. Even if you're not
Ha-ha
laughing
is a
out
kind of a
loud.
mean thing to send back if you actually thought it was funny. Like, I've told him that before. You text haha, it's like, okay, that's a no sell.
How would you rank?
right there.
What give me your ranking in the order of the text responses.
All caps LOL with a few O's is like the you're actually laughing out loud. LMAO with a couple O's is also good. All caps even.
I
Maybe
feel like
all
LMAO
caps
is
the
a
best.
higher level of
All
laugh
caps
than
LMAO
LOL.
is like that's pretty good.
Okay.
And then from there, a lot of ha-has is pretty solid. And then from there, LOL, and then like a giant tier skip. Like we're talking like you're going from like the 15th best quarterback in the NFL to like insert like PJ Walker, somebody who's like out the league completely. That's haha.
Well, what about ha?
With an exclamation.
That's like sarcastic. Like that, you got to drop that in like the group chat, right? Like you gotta hit somebody with that. Like a
There's
sarcastic
also actual LOL, which is I guess Julia didn't say actual LOL. Some people do that, but
I don't really
I'm a
go in for
literalist.
that one as much.
There's the haha text response too.
I'm a big
which,
fan of that.
If you're in
Yeah.
you're in
Yeah,
the
that's a
group
good one.
chat and you get like 6 or 7 of
Oh,
those
what a
babies,
high.
man,
Yep,
that makes
yep.
your day.
Yeah, what a high.
Julia just texted me actually LOLing. So now I can trust that she's honest once again. All right, EJ. What were the big takeaways from Nick Sirianni's press conference earlier today?
Yeah, I mean, he was asked right from the jump about the tush push and the reaction around it, and how he feels about the scrutiny that's come out after the Chiefs game. And he didn't offer much, but I did think it was interesting that he did not say anything about the way it's officiated. He just said it's not something that they have to deal with right now. It's not something that they can control. Acknowledge the fact that the play is going to be legal this season. After Kevin Patullo mentioned that like defenses line up offside against it so frequently, and I thought it was interesting that Jordan Mailata mentioned yesterday on a WIP that people mimic the cadence. Like the opposing defenses will try to mimic the Eagles' cadence to try and get them to jump on to false start. So I thought it was interesting that Nick didn't mention some of the officiating challenges, and I think that might be the right approach for the Eagles to take here because I do wonder if you start to really belabor the fact that it's a difficult play to officiate, if that's off-season ammunition for the rest of the league to say, oh, well, it undermines the integrity of the game because there's so many different rules. I thought that Frey made a good point on social media about this. Like, there are a lot of plays. I think Jason Kelsey also said this. Like, there are a lot of plays that are hard to officiate where, guys jump offside or, the offensive linemen are trying to time the snap. So, I think if you really try to really get granular about the rules of the tush push, that might end up backfiring on the Eagles.
EJ, you talked yesterday about how Sirianni, he focuses on turnover differential and explosive plays. In his 2 pressers this week, has he kind of contextualized this start with, okay, no turnovers, but not too many explosive plays? How has he kind of seen the Eagles handle that formula so far?
Yeah, he talked about how turnover avoidance is the number one thing. It definitely the term he uses is double positive, and I think you can tell both by the way the Eagles are operating offensively and even the way that he talks about it that the turnovers are the number one thing. Being able to take the ball away and being able to avoid giving the ball away on offense. So I think he's been pretty consistent with that, and I think that is informative when you look at the way the Eagles have been on offense really since the midway point of last season. I was looking at the numbers yesterday, and Jalen Hurts had 6 turnover-worthy plays in the first 2 weeks of last season, and 4 actual turnovers, 3 interceptions and a fumble. This year, he has only had 1 turnover-worthy play and no turnovers. So I think that we have seen like that again, it's like instructive of the conservative approach they've had on offense, and I think that is a Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts attribute at this point, is that they are turnover averse, maybe to a fault sometimes in the production of the passing game, but you can't really argue with the results. I mean, they've won a lot of games by not inviting that variance, as Bo puts it, in those games against teams that they probably have a talent advantage over anyway.
EJ, very talented wide receiver room for the Rams. One definitely will be in Canton one day. One's kind of on a trajectory to possibly get there one day. Did Sirianni talk about the challenges that Puka and Devontae Adams pose on, the concerning CB2 position?
Yeah, he talked about how Sean McVay deploys those guys too, and how difficult they are to prepare for. It's funny because he called Puka Nacua like a big, strong receiver, and obviously, like his measurables aren't that. But when you watch him against the Titans, like he does run through tackles in a way that he's like, got that compact frame. I found it interesting that Nacua is lining up in the slot 61.1% of the time this season, which is up from 29.9 the year before. And obviously it's because Cooper Kupp's not a part of this offense. He's in more of that role, that versatile role where they move him around the formation. And I do wonder if McVay, I mean, he is so well known for hunting matchups, if this is a week where Nacua is on the outside a lot more. But if he gets there through motion in ways where the Eagles cannot shade coverages and, be able to give Adoree Jackson the help against him. So, yeah, that's a matchup that's going to be really tough. I also wonder if this is a week where Quinyon Mitchell follows a guy like Devontae Adams just because he is more of that stationary outside presence. So I think that's going to be one of the more interesting chess matches. Every time that McVay and Fangio play are matched up against each other, the matchup is one of the more interesting ones to watch. Obviously, Fangio has some very historic success and really some very historic templates against this McVay offense. But yeah, no, I think that the way that the wide receiver core is going to be deployed against the Eagles secondary, Adoree Jackson kind of had a nice, like, under the radar week. He didn't have the C's get degrees type of performance against the Chiefs, but I think it's right back into the proverbial blender of good wide receiver matchups and needing to make sure that they insulate for him this week.
I like that you have called out the Fangio McVay of it all, because remember last year, of course, this was such a huge deal, and yet the other side, the what decided both of those games last year was the other side of the ball, where they just could not stop the run. Do you expect that to be a thing? And then I also want to ask you about, I have always felt like, for whatever reason, Nick Sirianni in particular kind of bristles at like the McVay love
because he owns them.
Have you noticed that? Do you feel that? And did you pick up on any sense of that?
Doug
today?
owned them. Nick owns them.
I feel like I didn't sense that today. He really did talk about no, actually the opposite, because Nick was talking about how, as a wide receivers coach, the wide receiver appreciator that he is, the connoisseur of wide receiver play, that he could tell that McVay he has a history in coaching wideouts. So actually, I think he went the other way today.
Oh,
Maybe
interesting.
this is like his Belichickian, like, has to compliment the opposing head coach.
Interesting. And then do you think that they're gonna lean on that ground game because the Rams let up so many big runs last year?
Yeah, I mean, it would make total sense. But this Rams defense has been really good this year. In all the advanced metrics I looked at today, they have been playing really well. But
Don't go full
I do
Kubiak
think-
on us here.
Oh,
It's
no.
2 weeks.
I mean, they've got talent though. I do it. I don't know. The thing I've been thinking about is, like, I think that they should be able to lead on the run game in most games. And I do think I was listening to your guys' discussion about the predictability and the run game being able to lean on it. I kind of alludes to this point that I wanted to make, which is, like, the Eagles offense was predictable at times last year. It's not like they threw out a pistol very much last year. When they went into pistol, you knew they were going to run. There is an element of this offense where it's like, we don't care if you know what we're going to do. We're just going to beat you up, and we're going to move people off the ball, and we're going to succeed anyway. So I do think the absence of explosive plays in the run game kind of exacerbates that predictability, and maybe you could make the argument that the predictability is contributing to it. But I don't know. Something tells me if Dallas Goedert was in that Grant Calcaterra tight end one in those, in that 12 personnel set, like, it doesn't matter that you knew they were going to run, like, I don't know. I think that was like one of the Eagles' superpowers last year. And I understand now that things aren't going as well. You do want to look at the coaching staff and wonder, like, can you vary these looks? Can you become a little bit less predictable? But I don't know if the predictability is always, I think it's maybe overstated, because I do think there were times last year where it was like, we knew what they were going to do. Everybody in the stadium knew they were going to run the ball, give it to Saquon. It was just a matter of stopping it.
All right. Anybody else got anything for Mr. Satan over here?
I do think I'm a little worried. I mean, 3 ha-has, how does that add
Ha
up?
ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys
That's one I can't get a feel for.
Oh, that's a big one for me, though. And that means, like, I would say, like, that means I'm in a good mood. Like, when I was texting you, I was amused. Yeah.
Now, how about the ha H? You know, like it ends on the H and not the ah.
I think that's a sign of it being genuinely funny, that you're not
Right.
like,
You're
just like
you're not even
oh my
looking.
God.
Yeah.
Hi. But it's intentional too.
Yeah.
But you're signaling by ending on the H that it really took you out of your normal response. Right?
Yeah, I'm a big just like haha guy. Like,
Yeah.
I'll just do that. So I don't care what it is. I don't care what it ends on. There might even be a J in there, like the Spanish. haha.
Oh. That feels a little bit like you're doing that on purpose.
No, I promise you I don't. No, like, you just saw how quick I can do that. Like, that's my number one
you
thing
think
right
that's
there.
quick? All right, everybody get your thumbs up and let's All right. EJ Smith, we will talk to you tomorrow at 2:00 live on the Xfinity mobile call-in line, coming to us from inside the HVAC system at the NovaCare complex.
Real quick, EJ, off of yesterday's show, have you gone and listened to any Limp Bizkit since?
No, I thought about listening to the Beatles, but no, I haven't listened to either. And again, I want to make sure everybody's clear on this.
Oh,
I don't know.
Julia is aghast.
She wasn't here yesterday.
Julia was working on the Brandon Graham show yesterday.
the
She didn't get a
Beatles
chance
too?
to hear this. He says the Beatles are you ready for this?
Oh,
Solid.
no, let me
Oh,
say, because
not
you're gonna,
timeless.
Solid.
Yeah,
That's
thank
his
you.
description of the Beatles.
Wow.
their music sounds old. It sounds like from a time. It's
As-
fine. Like, I
As
like some of
someone
their
who
music.
shares the same name as your wife, have you heard the song Julia? The Beatles song Julia?
Day in the
I
life.
just really,
It's no
I
Mountain
really
Joy,
don't.
Julia.
I prefer the Mountain Joy version of that song.
Wow.
So do I.
I don't know. I'm not.
Rocky
I
Raccoon sounds like a
love the
Mountain
name
Joy song.
Julia.
They sound
Just
very
that
hip.
song.
I walked in.
That
and here-
song doesn't sound modern at all.
Yeah.
There was a clip of the Gargano show up this morning on the TV out here, and there was a nice photo of Blake Trinan wearing his hat backwards, and I swear to God, I thought it was Fred Durst.
And then Bo saw what Fred Durst looks like now, which is not what he looked like 25 years
He
ago.
lived hard.
Yeah, he's got a whole new hairstyle.
You got to keep rolling, though.
I listened to
Oh,
some Limp Bizkit
EJ
on my way
doesn't get
home
that
today.
joke.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's
All right,
just,
EJ.
it's okay. It was just a little. I was a little too young for the Limp Bizkit.
I don't think you were, though.
It just missed me by like a couple years, I think.
Hmm.
I'm 31. I think I was a little too young.
last question from the chat. How do we feel about a hee?
Ooh.
Oh, it feels a little weird.
It's a little,
Not like that,
Ooh,
no,
aren't we
just-
naughty?
EJ didn't like how that one tasted.
Yeah,
You wore that one a little funny.
It just hit my ear wrong. Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Easy there, stranger.
Hee sailor.
All right. Thank you, EJ. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, guys.
Love you.
Yeah.
See you, man.
All right. Time for another break. And then on the other side, we're going to explore the question of whether, for the second year in a row, the Eagles have absolutely hit a home run with their first 2 draft picks. Omaha. Steaks. No audibles here. We're talking high quality meat, restaurant quality meat delivered right to you so that you can cook restaurant quality meals quickly for your family at home. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917. First you had Bill the Butcher, then you had Omaha Steaks come along. A family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and delectable desserts. I made some of the burgers last weekend for the family. They were delicious. I even used the Omaha Steaks seasoning. Fantastic. Like filet mignon burgers was delicious. Get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Red Hot sale event And for an extra $35 off, use promo code EAGLES at checkout. I will repeat that again because the deal is nuts. 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off when you use promo code EAGLES at checkout. See site for details.
Now let's talk about getting you back to what you love. It's the fall. I went for a hike with the family. I got a golf event coming up. We got to get you back to the things you love. And with Rothman Orthopedics, whether you have aches from a pickup game or old injuries that are lingering, whatever it is, Rothman Orthopedics will get you back in the game and doing what you love. Don't let pain take you out of those wonderful fall activities. Rothman Orthopedics uses evidence-based care and a commitment to restoring your mobility. They'll get you back out there to doing what you love stronger than ever when your body isn't quite cooperating. Rothman Orthopedics, getting you back to your summer game or fall game is their mission.
All right.
Real quick, are you guys staunch like summer, fall? Like, do you adhere to the date of the season, or are you still kind of in... Or have you already shifted into fall mode, even though it's not officially fall?
This is a weird weather time where
it's kind of perfect weather time, but yes.
It started earlier this year, I feel.
It did. Yeah. August was unusually cool.
You can wear a t-shirt and shorts, or you can wear a hoodie and sweatpants too.
I
those are the only things I wear about it.
I feel the yearning in my loins for soup season already.
Okay.
But it feels too early. You know,
I feel like it's too early for soup season.
It is, but I want some.
I don't want to yuck your yum.
Yeah, I want to get a crock pot going one Saturday with college football on, but it feels too early.
What are you going to do crock pot? You're going to do chili, or do you count chili as a soup?
No, chili is not a soup.
Okay.
Like I love a Mississippi pot roast. You ever do one of those?
No.
Ooh, get a little sexy with that. I just love like an all day like crock pot like soup season.
It's like 80 degrees, I think, on Saturday.
Yeah, it's still too early.
I feel like September is fall to me.
Yeah, I feel like that, but yeah. All right, that's all.
It's also a weather-based thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. That's all.
This is weird. I feel like the seasons have shifted over like our lifetimes, where I think it's probably moved back a little bit, where I don't know. I feel like it's like late April, early May. It's still pretty cold, honestly. And in September, look, we don't need to get into a whole global warming discussion here. But September is hot, man. It's 80 degrees in late September. Yeah.
We got a chili maker in the chat. Dave P, what up? He's making some chili this weekend.
Nice.
Let's get a little thumbs up in the chat here. Come on.
I did want to ask you guys before we get to this discussion about Drew Mukuba and Jihaad Campbell, and we got Handsome Rich on the show. I want to talk just about handsomeness for a sec. Robert Redford.
All-time hunk.
Legend.
I think I might make the case to the most handsome American who ever lived.
I think if Eileen Lynch, my mom, was weighing in, she'd put up a big fight for Harrison Ford, but I don't think she would fight you too hard on Robert Redford.
Robert Redford is,
he's a babe.
I forget.
My Kinsey scale changes for Robert Redford.
There was a story going around yesterday.
What a good actor.
I think it was Mike Nichols with The Graduate, where Robert Redford was
so good
reading for that role, and he was like, you can't do the role. You're too good looking.
Nobody would believe that.
Nobody would believe it. And Robert Redford's like, what do you mean? And then
he's like, oh, I don't know about that. I think I could do it. And Nichols is like, well, have you ever had trouble like getting a girl?
He's like, what?
he didn't understand.
He genuinely did not understand the concept of being interested in a girl.
Yeah.
Any girl. Like any time in his life. And he was like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. And it seemed like he was very genuine. And I think Mike Nichols was like, that's why you can't play the role.
Yeah. And listen, I see it. The way he aged too.
Yeah.
Just Fox till the end.
Kind of looks like a little bit like Roger Daltrey there.
Okay. Listen, I love D'Amico, as people are saying in the chat, but we're talking about, the what's good now versus what's good forever.
Oh, Julia, great job. Look at these picks.
Wow, what a slideshow, this hunk.
And one of the great actors, and a good,
a great human.
To his interpersonal abilities, but
he seems like a great person.
Seemed like he was fighting for the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to Bob.
Yeah, I gotta dive into some more of his movies. I've only seen like surface level. I got to do a little bit of a deeper dive. Like the big
Seen
ones.
the Sting, you seen
Butch Cassidy,
okay.
Sting. I haven't seen Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah, have you seen the meme? Yeah.
Yeah, but I found out that meme was Robert Redford like 5 years ago, and my brain exploded that day.
I found out like 5
That
hours
explains
ago.
a lot.
I've been picking up pieces of my brain ever since.
What a tribute to his acting ability.
I know.
I thought that was Zach Galifianakis. He's the most handsome guy in the world to transform into Zach Galifianakis. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Underrated Robert Redford movie. I mean, probably not underrated for older people, but I think for 70s movie, younger people. 3 Days of the Condor.
I had a lovely night to myself like 3 years ago just watching that movie. It was
All right,
great.
I got to put it on the list.
Yeah, all right.
Little spy type movie. It's good.
Julia says up close and personal.
I have not seen that one either. Yeah.
Redford talk on a Wednesday. All right, that's going to bring us to Shady Rays. The future is bright. And let's talk about the future being bright for a couple early players on defense for the Eagles. And I'm thinking about this through the prism of last year, the Eagles very clearly, drafted arguably the two best defensive players in the draft and with their first 2 picks. They nailed those picks, changed the face of the defense.
Yeah.
Rich, do you feel like we are like approaching that already? Is it too early?
Yeah, I think it's too early to at least give them the stamp of approval that you would give Quinyon and Coop because they did it. They did
There's
it all
only
the way.
one Quinyon.
They did it all. I know.
Look at these boys.
Oh, look at those handsome boys. Good job, Drew.
Anyway,
Playing the bongos. Yeah, you're the one who can do it. Yeah.
Man, I'm all over the place with that and giving away the Jim Murray answer earlier.
A little wet willy action.
It's like one of those studio shows Bill Simmons complains about. How many people can I fit at a table? We could fit 5 now with these guys.
By the way, speaking of handsomeness, Jihaad jumps off the screen. That dude is total package.
Shots fired at Drew.
I don't
You're gonna
say
say
speaking
speaking
of
of
Drew,
handsomeness,
but like,
and there's 2 guys, and you're only going to talk about one. Tough.
I've had this thought before. Jihaad's got quite a smile on him.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I would say
To get back to my point, which did get interrupted with some great bongo playing and
Wet willy action.
and all that stuff. I think it's a very promising start for the 2 of those. And so much of the NFL is just, do you keep hitting on your draft picks? And, we talk about, maybe the Eagles scheme in some respects. There are frustrating aspects about the team. But the thing people always come back to is, man, these guys got a lot of talent. And the fact that they're on this run of basically 4 straight amazing drafts looks like it might be 5 with these guys. Mukuba, I'm very interested in that. Vic seems to be a little more tepid with his praise, where I thought he summed it up exactly how it felt the other day, where he was like, man, he made some great plays. That blitz was awesome. The 3rd down stop where he fought through the coverage and then raises the hand for 4th down after it's over. That reminded me of Cooper DeJean against Jamar Chase last year.
Oh, I like that.
Running him down. It's like, man, that's a ball player right there. But there are some other elements where we don't know exactly what happened on that long Tyquan Thornton touchdown. I wonder if he was a little bit involved there. And Vic said, look, we do need to eliminate some of the bad plays as well. But as far as like a start and a guy who really didn't play a ton in training camp, to make so many positive plays early on being thrown into the fire, that's good.
My gut is that Jihaad is real deal. Like, you can put him in that defensive rookie of the year conversation. My gut with Drew is he's one of those guys that's going to be a ball hawk. He's going to make some plays for you. He's going to be in right positions a lot of times, but he's also going to burn you here and there. Now, there's obviously room to improve that, but I think that, and look, that's a long career in the NFL.
That's still very valuable, yeah, for sure.
So if he can improve on that, but like, I think there are going to be those plays where Mahomes maybe trucks him because he's a little smaller. And maybe there's a play, like to Rich's point on the touchdown, where he's out of position or doesn't quite understand the assignment.
Might not have been his fault too. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't. But then there's also going to be plays where he comes up with interceptions and forced fumbles. And I just think he's going to be mostly good with some bad. And we'll see.
Yeah, I don't want to pour water on Mukuba yet. I think
it's
he's
a little
been very
early,
good.
yeah.
It's a little bit early,
Sure.
I think. And I also think if you're just looking at it from the draft, how that played out,
To win.
it is also true that Xavier Watts, who went at the pick the Eagles traded out of in the 3rd round, has looked really good so far, arguably better than Mukuba. Billy Bowman, who went in the 4th round, has looked pretty good. Jonas Sanker, who went in the 3rd round, has looked pretty good. And so if you were someone who thought that maybe they reached on Mukuba and could have waited on a safety because there was kind of a similarly graded group, I don't think that you would be dissuaded from that yet. But there's something to be said for if this guy's good, that's a fine pick. And there's also there isn't really anyone who went right after Mukuba who like jumps out as like that would have been a better pick. I think if you were playing it out again from Howie Roseman's standpoint, the thing would still be, is there a chance we could have moved up in round 2 for somebody else and then gotten a safety later anyway? But I think there's no doubt that at this point, they've got to be pretty happy. I think Jihaad Campbell, they're over the moon.
Yeah, I think he's the real deal, no doubt about it. He's in that conversation at the end of the year when it comes to Defensive Rookie of the Years. I mean, to have that start after, missing OTAs and missing some of the springtime stuff, to come in and be able to pick up what players say is a very complicated and trusting system that Vic Fangio runs, to get it like that in game 1, like I think that's rare.
Well, and that's why the 3rd and 1 stop for Mukuba. That was my favorite play he made. I know the interception actually won the game, but there's a little bit of luck in that. And I do think there is a little bit of small sample bias where it's like, this guy has a nose for the football. He gets the interception in his preseason game that he plays, and then he makes the big play here. It's like, well, let's see if this goes through a full season. I know he had 5 interceptions last year at Texas as well, but when he's making the plays where he has like the smarts to run through all of that traffic and then the toughness to make the tackle. They've drafted some really good tacklers over the past few years.
Cooper DeJean is a phenomenal tackler.
That's such a luxury. It really is.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So,
and that's what jumps out when you watch this team, right? Like just these guys are so physical, so sound. Yeah.
Yeah. Just sound football all across the board.
A quick super chat as we transition out of the future is bright from Shady Rays from Chase Daniel Plainview, who says,
CDP?
I find Nick Wright's Eagles takes dumb and incurious. I don't know if I agree with that, but he says, is there a Syracuse grad that provides more informed Eagles analysis? Now, CDP, we got to work on your grammar here. That's got to be a who, not a that. We're talking about a person that you're asking about. So let's clean that up. And then the answer is very clearly, if you are of the opinion
Michael Barkan, right?
That Nick Wright is tilted the wrong way, you want someone who's a little bit more of a homer. I mean, Adam Lefkoe is standing right there.
Yeah. You got Barkan, you got Lefkoe.
Matt Gelb has Eagles opinions.
Yeah, Matt Gelb.
Yeah.
That's all that really comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy McCullough.
No, I didn't know he was a Syracuse
Yeah.
fan.
Tony Bunn, Syracuse?
Tony Buns. Yeah, not an Eagles fan, but he'll have some stuff for you.
NBC's Philly just hired a Syracuse kid to cover the Phillies digitally. He's probably in the know and has Eagles.
Well, let's get him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, Bob Costas.
Yeah, you do have Bob. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good question, though.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take our last break here on the PHLY Eagles podcast. And when we return, we will hopefully be joined by Mina Kimes of ESPN. All right. Here's what you need to know about Ashley. Get your home ready for cozy season during Ashley's fall savings event happening now. Discover the season's warmest and coziest hot buys for every room in your house, from stylish living rooms to welcoming dining rooms to relaxing bedrooms. You'll find beautiful looks starting at just $2.99. And right now, buy today and pay later with no interest for 60 months, because fall isn't just a season, it's a feeling. Visit your local Ashley showroom and start saving today.
Guys, I want to talk to you about branded bills. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Are you looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Well, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear, whatever you need. You're going on a bachelor party, trying to start something with a new company, Branded Bills will have your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. Guys, this is quality stuff right here. They have a partnership with Penn State as part of their campus selection. So for you Nittany Lions fans who are also Eagles fans, head on over to Branded Bills. They have the hats that you need. Head on over to brandedbills.com and use the code BBPHLY. That's code BBPHLY for 15% off your first order.
Get your home ready for cozy season during Ashley's fall savings event happening now. Discover the season's warmest and coziest hot buys for every room in your house, from stylish living rooms to welcoming dining rooms to relaxing bedrooms. You'll find beautiful looks starting at just $2.99. And right now, buy today and pay later with no interest for 60 months, because fall isn't just a season, it's a feeling. Visit your local Ashley showroom and start saving today. How about that? Look at that. I mean, the work going on behind the scenes by Julia. Fantastic job.
Feels like SNL.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, to say nothing of the pants situation that's going on. All right. Yeah, I think do you have any of the other rookies been interesting to you?
Well, Ty Robinson, haven't seen
too much. Inactive week 1.
Of him yet.
Mac McWilliams,
haven't seen
Yep.
ton of him. So yeah,
Darius Cooper is the answer.
Well, he's been doing a great job on the tush pushes. I'm very excited to see him in the game. It's funny. We looked at Jahan Dotson not getting those snaps. That's because Darius Cooper's taking all those tush pushes from him.
He's pushing guys around in the run game too. Darius Cooper's gonna have a catch this week.
You think?
That's a prediction. Yeah.
Man, that'll be a tendency breaker.
Knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a tendency breaker against the Rams.
All right, let's go back to the Xfinity mobile call-in line and welcome in Mina Kimes of ESPN and the Mina Kimes Show. Mina, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. That was a great ad read, by the way. I was sitting while you're doing the Ashley's furniture. Super well done.
Thank you very much. That means a lot coming from a pro. Okay, last time we talked to you was right before week 1. So we now have 2 games to discuss. And I guess the question is, for if you're talking to the in-laws and they're telling you, oh, this passing game is terrible, like we're 2-0, but that's not good enough. Do you play along, or do you say, no, you're 2-0, don't worry about it, it'll get better?
I might agree with them that the passing game is something to talk about. I don't think it's something to hit the panic button over. They literally have gone through this now for a couple of years, right? And I think being 2-0 matters, and I think it matters against decent competition, and I think the defense is playing well, and the run game looks fantastic. But if you want to get back to the Super Bowl and win it, and that should be the goal for the Philadelphia Eagles, this passing game has to look better than it has early on.
And so what to you jumps out there? Because we have talked a lot this week about the predictability. Everything is these 2x2 sets, and when they're, by formation, they have been very predictable. I am personally, I am offended by how much 12 and 13 personnel they've been playing. I don't think you need to run out of that, but that's a separate conversation. In the passing game, what jumps out to you?
Well, they've only run out of 12, right? At least that was correct when I was looking this last week. Yeah, so that's not good. Obviously, Goddard, that's a big part of that. But just the deployment of AJ Brown, I think, is probably the single biggest, most annoying thing to watch. I mean,
does he look all the way right to you?
I don't think that's the problem.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like conservatively 60% of his targets were slants. I don't have the chart in front of me.
I think that is conservative. Yes.
He's way too good to be limited this way. How about a crosser? Can we get him on a crosser? He's AJ Brown. He's giant. He's fast. He catches everything. He beats up corners. So that's been frustrating to me because, I think defenses are going to keep blitzing them. We can talk about that with the Rams. And the answer to the blitz has to be something other than just AJ on a slant or a pray or go ball to Devontae.
Mina, do you find them to be, as somebody who looks at the entire league, a frustrating team to talk about? Because you have things, you just said, how about a crosser? Like a very simple thing, an intermediate route. And yet they're the Super Bowl champions. They're 2-0, and they just ruthlessly win every single week. But it just seems like the offense is very predictable. They have 2-star receivers who are not getting the ball at all. But yet they continue to just win games.
No, I enjoy talking about them because at least we can diagnose things. What I find frustrating is a team like the Ravens that loses in dumb ways, right?
Oh yeah.
And as an analyst, they'll ask me the next day on TV, what's wrong with the Ravens? And I'm like, I don't know. Stop losing in stupid ways. Whereas with Philadelphia, they're very talented, and I think you can actually point to specific things like, hey, let's see AJ Brown use this way. Hey, maybe defensively, I actually think the defense looked pretty good, but I think with Philadelphia, it's part of the reason why I'm not panicking. They're too talented. They're so talented. They'll figure it out. There's obviously the coaching change. So I think as a fan, I'm sure it's frustrating to watch them, have the Ferrari parked the way that it's been, but at least it's fixable.
And so I want to ask you about this because we've been trying to get beyond, okay, like, is this good or bad, the way that they're playing, and more like, what is the why behind it? And Sirianni and Patullo have talked about this a little bit. And to me, it feels like maybe they have like learned the wrong lesson from last season, which is just that, okay, if we don't turn the ball over and we sort of like decrease the variance, we are going to out-talent people, and that's going to be good enough. And I do feel like that is wasting your resources a little bit. But how do you feel about that? Like, given the talent that they have, A.J. Brown and also Devontae Smith, who is going underutilized, like, are you okay with, like, let's just make this game as low possession and like very basic as possible, and then we're going to come out in the end because maybe our defense will make a big turnover? I mean, 2 red zone turnovers in a row these last 2 weeks. Or, I mean, are you of the opinion that, like, if you have a talent advantage, you probably want to maximize possessions, and you want to make it so that over the course of more possessions, your talent's going to win out that way?
Like, kind of leading the witness a little bit.
I know. I did at the end. I didn't quite land the plane.
Competition matters a lot. Okay, so I think week 1 things were really thrown by the Jalen Carter injury, and I feel like that kind of threw that whole game out, into chaos. And week 2, I think they correctly identified that they had a talent advantage versus the Chiefs offense. And obviously Steve Spagnuolo, it's tricky with what he does pressure-wise. So I think you can write that off to some extent. I don't think that's going to fly against this Rams offense. I think this is the week where you need to see the Ferrari come out of the garage, because this Rams offense can go. Matthew Stafford has looked incredible for the first 2 weeks of the season. I think the combination of Davante Adams and Puka Nacua is going to give this Eagles defense unique issues. So the offense needs to keep up. You cannot play that style of football. You can't be conservative in this game. You got to make the most of your talent on offense against this, and also competition, because the Rams defense, I think on the secondary, there's a lot of places that the Eagles can take advantage of. But you got to throw to your Monstars to take advantage of those weaknesses. So I think this is the week you got to see it.
Okay, let's get into this matchup then. And for those who don't know, you know this Rams team very well. You spent the preseason doing their games, right? So let's start on the Rams offensive side of the ball. And given the history of McVay and Fangio, this is obviously going to be a fun chess match. But if you are game planning for, okay, we know the Eagles have this one weakness at that outside corner spot in Adoree Jackson, do you expect that, and E.J. Smith brought this up earlier, do you expect that maybe Puka Nacua spends more time on the outside than in the slot so that he can go up against Adoree Jackson?
I got into this a little bit on my show, Mina Kimes show featuring Lenny, previewing the game. So I went back and looked at how they used Nacua in the divisional round, and he was lined up way wide, way more than he's used to. Quinion Mitchell got hurt in that game. You remember that, of course. And Stafford, I think over 50% of his targets in that game were to receivers lined up wide, which is way above his average. We usually think of Puka Nacua being aligned in the slot or tight to the formation, but there was a concerted effort to de-emphasize Cooper Dean in that game. John McVay is a very smart coach, right? He's not going to roll out there and say, let's do what we do. He is going to find ways to go after your second cornerback position, whether it's Nacua or Davante Adams, who I think looks really good. In my mind, there's only so much you can do to protect that early on. The Vic Fangio, he's not leaving him on an island. He tries to give him safety help. But the other thing with the Rams is, like, the way Stafford is playing, even if you have great coverage, he's killing guys. To me, it's all about Jalen Carter and getting quick pressure. Of course, you remember he basically called game the last time these teams played. The Jalen Carter, the impact he had in that game was so dramatic that the Rams just completely changed they brought back an old center because they were so upset about that. So I think, but the Rams offensive line has looked like a question mark to me early on. Stafford's been under a lot of pressure, and I think quick pressure is going to be key. Can you get it up the middle against this and flush Stafford out of the pocket? I think that's going to be paramount for Philadelphia.
Mina, what did you make of Fangio going blitz heavy against the Chiefs? I mean, I thought that was pretty cool after the Super Bowl when he famously doesn't blitz at all. And he gets asked in his press conference this week, well, why did you blitz more? And he said, well, I needed to this time. I didn't need to the last game that we played.
Well, he also, he took him by surprise a few times, right? I mean, other than Mahomes scrambling, he mostly got him. The Mukuba blitz, I loved. I think I said this on NFL Live, but the Eagles blitzed their DBs at the lowest rate in football last year. Third down, dime personnel. Who's thinking they're going to send Mukuba? I loved that from Fangio. It was right for that opponent. Don't know if it's exactly right, though, for this one. I think with this one, you really want to get pressure with 4. You really want the interior, I think, in particular, to dominate the way that Jalen Carter is capable of, but hasn't shown thus far.
All right, other side of the ball, back to the discussion of the Eagles offense. What should we expect from the Rams defense?
So Rams defense, pretty similar to last year. Very good 4-man rush. Weaknesses behind that. I think you can run on them. Akilla Witherspoon is not playing in this game, so I think we're probably going to see a lot of Emmanuel Forbes.
Which I mean, listen, I don't know if you remember this, Mina, but AJ Brown essentially ended his
basically
career.
Basically Ram.
Right, exactly. So, like, if they can't get AJ going this week, then we really got some problems.
Yeah, or whoever's on him. And I also think you want to run at him. He's a smaller corner. The Eagles have been, it's looked to me like it's been a lot of outside zone this season thus far. I think that's a matchup you want. You want to make Emmanuel Forbes tackle if he's out there. I think it's just going to be, for me, for Hurts and Patullo, not just Hurts, Chris Shula is going to throw a lot at you. He's pretty creative with his pressure design. I think you saw that actually, right? In the divisional round, I remember he got them a few times with simulated pressures where he'd walk up the linebackers. You could tell Hurts was bothered by that. So I think they have to come up with a plan for pressure, not just a standard rush. And they got to get Hurts answers that aren't just slant to AJ Brown over and over.
Right. Or chuck it deep, which that worked okay. I'd like to see a little bit more of that.
They had like a play action pass, I think, to Granson, I want to say, that I loved in this last game.
It was like I thought that might have been an RPO. It was like the only one they ran all day.
Was it an RPO? Yeah. And then they popped a screen to Devontae too. That was excellent. That was very successful, if I remember correctly. Like, just mix it up, please.
Yes, that's actually the one, and we haven't talked about this, the one part of the offense that looks better this year than last year is the screen game, which was mostly non-existent last year. What is your read on Jalen, Mina? Because to our eyes, he's actually playing better than he did last year. It seems like he's seeing things quicker. It's just that maybe the answers aren't quite there.
Yeah, he's fine. I think it's hard to know if it's sometimes with the absence of the passing game, if it's about him, if it's scheme versus him not pulling the trigger on stuff, right? I think he has thrown the ball well. He looks really dynamic as a scrambler this season or on designed runs. So the ability is there. I think it's just kind of like, is it willingness or is it coaching right now that's constricting this offense? I think we're going to learn a lot this week.
Okay. Mina Kimes, very last question, very quick. Which is a bigger violation from EJ? Thinking that the Beatles are just okay or never having heard of Limp Bizkit?
Wow. Probably the Beatles take, because Limp Bizkit feels like a generational thing. He's really young, right?
He's 31. I feel like it's within range.
I'm definitely the Limp Bizkit generation, and I don't think we're better for it. So,
all right.
I'll say the Beatles thing.
Mina Kimes, thank you so much. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.
See you, Mina.
All right. I feel like EJ gets off easy there.
I just love that the whole music universe is revolving around the Beatles and Limp Bizkit right now. Just nothing in between. It's like, one of those.
Underrated yesterday was the idea that he'd never heard of Bach or Dostoevsky. I mean, Julia, you got to watch yesterday's show. But yeah, I feel like other Julia is going to be dragging EJ through the mud.
I think she's
back down to hell with that microphone.
Think she's going to be having some classical music in the house?
She should be bumping that for when he comes
a little
home.
Culture,
Yeah.
some Dostoevsky,
I agree
followed
with that.
by Fred Durst.
We have breaking news, and this is honestly disgusting breaking news, Rich. And I will tell you what it is when we return. Is this like a touch too early? Is this okay, Julia? Okay. The Eagles have made a roster move. They have added somebody to the roster, and you're going to think to yourself, this is very interesting. I wonder if it's somebody from the practice squad who's been playing. Maybe Marcus Epps deserves to get promoted to the practice squad 2 weeks in a row. Or it's someone who they really need at a position. Maybe a tight end. We found a blocking tight end. That's a good idea. Unfortunately, it is not any of those things. It is a very bizarre retread here. and I will tell it to you in overtime. That's right. Welcome back, Kenyon Green, to the active roster.
What's the deal with that?
Got to protect him. I honestly, I don't know what's going on with this one. I mean, listen, he's a talented player. We never really saw it in the summer. The Eagle, Jeff Stoutland doesn't seem to have taken a liking to him necessarily, but the practice squad, then the active roster, then the waiving, then back to the active roster. Why can't they just put him on the practice squad? He already went unclaimed.
Yeah.
So we'll just put him on the practice squad. Aren't you going to have to promote Marcus Epps at some point?
I think so.
You know what? This is everybody's worried about the passing game. I'm worried about what's going on in the front office, man. I mean, with this,
it's been an active
Gabe
couple
Hall,
weeks, man.
you could bring Gabe Hall back. You know what? Gosh, we didn't even get to this. Is Willie Lampkin Bowl?
Yeah.
Still on IR, but
no love lost there with that claim.
Yeah, I mean, Lampkin versus Dylan McMahon. Only one can survive.
Absolutely. I mean, that's going to be I'm sure Fox is going to highlight that matchup before the game. Who I miss, man, and this is just a random guy who has been on the Eagles practice squad. I miss Jack Stoll. You mentioned a blocking tight end.
Jack Stoll.
I'm just thinking back to that long Devontae touchdown against, I believe it was against Cincinnati last year. And Nick Sirianni, after the play is over, he goes to Devontae and is like, you got to thank Stoll. He just blocked the guy for 10 minutes on that play. And he did. And that blocking tight end skill set, I'm missing it, man.
Yeah, they did. They desperately need that. And I don't know if you caught this, but they believe last week, I think it's the Saints promoted Stoll from the practice squad to the active roster. And my sense is that was because maybe the Eagles were trying to bring him up.
Gilmore's like, look, I saw a little bit of
not letting it happen again.
I saw a little bit of their game.
Yeah.
We got to get this guy.
Plus, everybody knows Jalen trusts him.
Yes, he does.
Does he trust Kylan? Does he trust Grant? I don't know. Not the way he trusts Jack.
Yeah. I am. I know you're going to talk about it with Fran and EJ and Daniz over the next few days. I do think the point that you're going to need to actually take the trading wheels off for this game is going to be important. I am very worried about
that's the right framing from Mina too. Yeah.
Very worried about Adoree Jackson against Sean McVay with two excellent receivers. It's just at some point, Uncle Vic's not going to be able to scheme around Adoree, and that's going to be trouble. So I think they're going to have to score a lot of points. Now, look, is this a defense that they have scored a lot of points over the past years?
Mostly through the ground last year, right?
It's hard to, again, you wonder if Saquon breaking off basically a record number of 50-plus yard runs last year is sustainable. This was the team that he got a ton of those against. It was crazy. Once he got to the second level against the Rams, I mean, it was a house call every time.
And this is the challenge for defensive coordinators, right? Do you commit more guys to the box? And Daniz, I'm not talking about when they're loaded up and it's an even matchup here. I'm talking about if you're in 11 and you're still bringing 8 to the box, then if you get through that second level, Saquon's off to the races.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Saquon looks like he has the same juices last year, just to your naked eye?
I just don't think he's gotten quite the same blocking as last year. Maybe a tick less, but I don't know. I feel like
I don't think there have been real chances to see like when he's gotten to the second level.
That's the right answer.
It feels like he has. The touchdown run against the Chiefs, would have been an 80-yard touchdown probably if it was in a different part of the field. And you do what I'm definitely still seeing is the shiftiness in the backfield to make a guy miss.
I think he's had a lot of very impressive 4 and 5 yard runs in the first few games. Like he was 22 for 88 last week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at you with the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just stuck in my head. Yeah.
That's why he's the quiz master.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's not an answer on the quiz though.
Would you like to be a Quizzo guy?
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay.
I mean,
I like that. We should make that an event. Let's make that an event for the Diehards.
Yeah.
Handsome Rich's Quizzo.
Yeah. I mean, just, hanging out at a bar on a Wednesday night, they got the Phillies game on. And
Bring me back my pencils. Don't steal my pencils. That's always a big thing.
Yes. Well, and also too, I mean, there's rampant cheating. The one thing I wouldn't want to deal with is the rampant cheating in modern Quizzo.
Sure.
I mean, there's nothing more frustrating. Julia likes a Quizzo.
Julia's got a weekly Quizzo team, right?
Yeah. It's just very
music
annoying.
trivia though, right? Okay.
Do you like the regular
Why,
one
when you
better?
working hard or something? What is it like? Name that tune, or is it like music, like trivia?
No, it'll be like there's categories. Like the last round is you have to name the first and last name of the artist. Spelling matters, and then
Okay.
you have to name the exact song title.
Spelling
Ooh.
matters.
Other rounds are name what movie this song is from or what
Okay,
show this song
okay,
is
okay,
from.
yeah.
I like that.
And the first round I think is usually just like some kind of theme,
Mm.
and you have to name the artist.
We had a like a trivia thing in college where it was like there was like a traveling thing that went to campuses, and it was like a thing that went on stage, and like you have a team, and then one person goes up, and you get like a $500 thing if you win, and I was the one who went up. Guess who took it down? No big deal. And I'll remember that the championship answer was, it was like a, name that tune, and it was TV theme songs, and like right up my alley. Sex in the City was the answer. Was the winner. But I mean, it's an easy one. You go right in. Here we go.
Yeah, great one.
There you go.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So maybe we
I
can
like
organize
this,
that
yeah.
at some point.
New side gig for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll see you guys at Wednesday night. Some random bar in the Delaware Valley.
Yeah, we're gonna do it at Fran's house. So,
does he have a bar set up? We don't know.
Yeah, when you're able to get to the 5th set of questions on the ultimate PHLY sports quiz, in the answer key is Fran's address, and you can join us. And also the date of the quizzo.
Spelling important though.
Spelling important. Yeah. And there is one very good Easter egg in the answers there by you, which I really appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Handsome Rich, great job. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, EJ. Thank you, Mina. And that's all we got. Tomorrow, we're back, 2 o'clock. EJ and Fran right here in studio. The return of Swooper. Maybe some other things going on. We'll find out. And of course, we talk and get into this matchup with the Rams. So thank you to Julia. Thanks to everybody for being there. And by the way, please check out the latest episode of Brandon Graham Unblocked on the Brandon Graham Unblocked YouTube channel. Hit subscribe to that bad boy for us, please. Comment and share that. Very fun conversation with BG. A great story about the elevator, which was the highlight of my week.
Unbelievable.
But then also some real nitty gritty defensive line stuff. Also his thoughts on the tush push and Jalen Hurts' smack talk and his thoughts on the Rams. So good conversation. And thank you, Julia. Remember, it takes a little to be a big. Big brothers, big sisters. This is their month. We're trying to do what we can to support them. So if you can find it in your heart, please donate. That's all we got. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.